Good morning, biology class.
Today we are talking all things classification. So here we go.
Yes, taxonomy classification. Did you know biologists organize living things into categories? Yes, they do.
Oh, man.
The most closely related organisms are grouped together.
Makes sense. It was developed by Carolus Linnaeus in the mid-1700s, and the names are all going to be in Latin. And then this is how they are divided.
So as you guys see here, domains are divided into kingdoms and so on and so forth. So kingdoms are divided into phylum, phylums are divided into classes, classes are divided into orders, orders are divided into families, and families are divided into genus. Genus is divided into species, but species cannot be divided. As you go through the rest of these notes, you'll see that and kind of make a better understanding as it get towards the end.
Yeah, so we are going to start with the common house cat as an example. We are going to go from kingdom to species just so we can see how organisms are classified.
How cute that cat is. So the common house cat, the kingdom, it's
Animalia.
Organized into is Animalia. Phylum is
Chordata.
Class.
Mammalia. Whoa, Mammalia.
Which is a mammal. Order.
Carnivora.
Which is a carnivore. He is a meat eater.
Yes.
Family.
I'm going to say this wrong, but you always help me with this. Felidae. How do you?
Yeah, Felidae.
My Latin is not the best, you guys.
Which is, I think, Latin for its family. It belongs to, right? No,
yes.
It's a feline.
Feline.
Oh, it's feline. That's right. Genus.
Felis.
And species.
Sylvestric. So our scientific name for this is going to be Felis sylvestric because every organism has a two-part name. This is going to be called binomial nomenclature. It's always going to be written as the genus and the species. If you look here how it's written, genus is capitalized. So whenever you write the scientific name, you want the genus capitalized. Species is always going to be undercase or lowercase. So for the house cat, it's also always going to be written in italics. You can underline it, but they prefer italics. So it's going to be Felis sylvestric, and make sure Felis is capitalized, sylvestric is lowercase, all italics. And you have to make sure that it's two separate words.
Yeah, it's obviously, feline and then the actual species of the feline within that group.
Yes, so the different types of house cats that we have. So for human beings, our common name is human beings, but our scientific name is known as Homo sapiens. So our genus is Homo and our species is sapiens. You always want to underline or italics it and then capitalize the genus.
So why use scientific names? People in all parts of the world use the same name for an organism. Relationships among organisms are evident in their names, and differences between organisms are obvious from their names.
Yes. So it really helps us determine the relationship between organisms. So something newer to science is classification wasn't always separated with starting with domains. So this is kind of a newer thing to science. Domains are going to be the broadest category, and we have three different types. We have bacteria and archaea, which are both going to be types of bacteria. And then you have eukarya, which is going to include us and all eukaryotic cells.
Some terms to help categorize organisms are exoskeleton, endoskeleton, asexual and sexual reproduction, and radial and bilateral symmetry. So as we get through some of these notes, so exoskeleton would be something as an example of like maybe a crayfish or a lobster that has a skeleton on the outside of its exterior of its body.
Yes.
And endoskeleton would be
us.
You have bones that support us.
Yes.
Asexual and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction would be bacteria, right?
Yes, it would. And then sexual reproduction would be anything that uses a mate to breed.
Yep. And then radial and bilateral symmetry. So radial would be if you were to take a section of
anything
organism, it would have the same appearance
all the way
in its
around.
body, right?
Yes.
And then bilateral would be a cross section of something that would be symmetrical on both sides. It would have the same look.
Right down the middle. So like Mr. Hermsen said, an exoskeleton is going to be a skeleton on the outside of the body. This can be like a shell. It's going to provide shape and protection on the outside. Some other examples of this are like ladybugs or grasshoppers from our examples last week.
Endoskeleton, skeleton on the inside, as we spoke about. Bones provide shape and form.
Yes. This is going to be anything where you cannot see the skeleton. And then we have two different types of reproduction. Asexual reproduction is when the offspring are going to be genetically identical to the parents. This is going to allow animals to increase in numbers rapidly. A great example of this is going to be bacteria. And then sexual reproduction is going to help create and maintain genetic diversity. It helps species evolve when the environment changes. So sexual reproduction is a way to allow for that genetic diversity to actually happen.
Radial symmetry. So this is a really good illustration of what radial symmetry is. As you can see, there's multiple planes here of symmetry. If you were to take a section, each one would match the other based off of radial symmetry.
Yes, we find this a lot in organisms in the ocean because they're sessile or not moving. So they need food. They need to be able to filter feed from any side wherever the current is hitting them. So that way they are equally getting food from all sides.
Bilateral symmetry, head or anterior end encounters the environment. Examples are food, danger, and other stimuli. Cephalization, the head leads the development of the central nervous system.
Yes. So if you look at an example of this, you can see if you cut it right down the middle, it's going to have an anterior and a posterior end. The left and the right side are going to be similar to each other. However, if you were to cut it between the legs, the top and the bottom, it would not be the same. So it can't be radial symmetry. Mm-hmm. And these are some broad examples for how we classify organisms.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Woo!